I am going to debunk the biggest arguments I hear against the existence of UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrials, call it what you will, all that jazz. And I'm going to do it on my unicycle because I am just that cool. Number one, it is a big psyop. The government is performing a psychological operation on its people, and ultimately people have been misled into believing the existence of extraterrestrials. All right, people that propose this theory have been asleep for the last 100 years and have literally no understanding of anything that has been going on in regards to this particular topic. And I say this because for the large amount of history, 99% of the history, modern history in regards to this phenomenon, since its inception, the government has vehemently been denying the existence of extraterrestrials. They have gone to painstaking efforts to present the narrative that this is simply a weather balloon. There is no real evidence. We don't know anything about this particular topic, but it's only in recent times, over the last 4 or 5 years, the Disclosure Project, namely, that we have been seeing certain figures within government being open to discussing this, often going against the wishes of people that are higher up. So the idea that it's a psychological operation would presume that the government hasn't been taking every step possible to prevent this information from coming to the fore. And the reality for people that have actually touched on this topic is that there have been painstaking efforts to prevent this information from coming to the fore. The very idea of what we call conspiracy theories has its origins within certain figures making efforts to present a misinformed outlook in regards to the topic of extraterrestrials, presenting this notion that they are simply little green men from Mars. There's even a classification of anything dealing with what we refer to as exotic matter. So the same kind of vigorous secrecy that applied to the Manhattan Project, and this is something that was kept under wraps for a long period of time, is applied to anything relating to extraterrestrial craft. And this is actually something that has been well established in government. Anything dealing with the origins of extraterrestrial craft, extraterrestrial beings, biological entities, and so forth, comes in the category of classification that applied with the Manhattan Project. And a level of secrecy is so vigorous that only a very select few people with enough clearance are able to gain access to this kind of information. So there's not only a tremendous amount of secrecy in regards to this topic, but there have been efforts put forth by people within the CIA, people that were essentially part of the cover-up, like Majestic 12, to prevent people from getting a real understanding of what is going on for various reasons. Namely, the vast majority of people would not be able to handle this information. It would disrupt society, religions, and so forth. So it is absolutely an idea that requires people not to have an understanding of the recent history and the massive denial of the US government in regards to the existence of UFOs and UAP. Another thing I hear from people is that if it were true, we would know about it. This idea that the government is absolutely transparent about all its affairs. Now, anyone that has any semblance of understanding in regards to whether it is government, businesses, or particularly the military realizes that you are dealing in sensitive information. I mean, this is why we have classified information in government. The government has this idea that the general public are not ready for certain information, or it is a national defense risk to having this information public, so they cover this up. This is just 101. So people that make this argument have no understanding of what goes on in government. More importantly, have no understanding of recent events. The fact that over the last few years, was it around 2010, 11, that we had Edward Snowden release information that the government has been monitoring the data of its general public. This stuff goes on all the time, but people are still under this naive idea that we live in a society where everything is made public. No. It's quite the opposite. And the deeper you go into the ranks of power, the more secretive things are. And at the very high levels of power, people are made to swear secret oaths. People are made to sign non-disclosure agreements, whether it's business, corporate, or governmental. People have to keep things secret in order to preserve the integrity of the information that they're dealing with. Another argument I hear is that there is no conclusive evidence in regards to extraterrestrial craft. The thing about evidence is there is no amount of evidence that is going to convince someone to believe a truth that they are not ready to believe. Most people, from my experience, don't want to believe in something if it does not gel with their worldview. And this is not just the religious-minded, this is the scientists out there that have this religious scientism mentality. And they often make arguments like, well, it's not possible that another alien species could travel to our galaxy because it would require so much time to traverse this star system and so forth. Or evolution has it that there's no way a biological entity could evolve in the way where it would be similar to ours. Then there are all of these arguments people make that go against the actual evidence, the actual reports, eyewitness reports, the cornucopia of testimonies, physical evidence, and so forth that show definitively that this is actually happening. But of course, when people have a preconceived notion of what is possible, they always make the same argument. It's like the same thing that happened about 100 years ago when the Smithsonian Institute wouldn't change their paper that heavier than air flight was possible, despite the fact that the Wright brothers were flying. People don't want to believe something regardless of how much evidence you present to them. Another argument I often hear from people is that these are UFOs. It means that they are unidentified flying objects. They're just being misidentified. It doesn't mean that they're extraterrestrial in origin. And here's the thing, no doubt there are people that misidentified craft, but there are high-level people that have worked on this craft and are telling us that there is no way we have any technology that can do anything that these crafts do. And no doubt, many of these craft have actually been reverse engineered, and we have high-ranking people within the military, within the realms of technology, that tell us that they've actually come up with a lot of the technologies that we have on the scene based off of this alien technology. So they've actually, at some point, found extraterrestrial craft, and they've used this to make their own craft that happen to be human in origin. But the fact that so many of these craft are also manned by extraterrestrial beings, and they are witnessed by so many people that report alien abductions, that report seeing these craft behave in ways that no craft that we know of could behave in, it would suggest conclusively that there are also extraterrestrial craft. Now, one of my favorite arguments against the UFO scene is that all these people that are reporting to have seen these extraterrestrial beings or extraterrestrial craft and so forth, these abduction experiences, they're all having some combined hallucination, right? It's one thing when someone has some experience that seems outside of what we would consider to be the norm, but when hundreds of thousands of people are having these incidences, and there is a common theme within these experiences, whether they are abduction experiences, whether they are experiences where they are seeing unidentified craft, and these craft are behaving in ways that are very comparable to other craft, we see a theme. This is the thing about humans when it comes to intelligence. We have the ability to recognize patterns. For people to look at all of these patterns and say that they are not connected is not only unwise, but it's stupid. I mean, unless people are having some combined hallucination, there's obviously something that is going on here. Common thing I hear is that people are speaking about UFOs, UAPs, aliens, because they are motivated by fame and by money. Now, the reality is that most people, in fact, I would say pretty much all people that speak about this topic, have their careers smeared, have their reputations ruined, lose their jobs. This is what happened to John Lear. This is what happened to Phil Snyder. Phil Snyder was suicided. Bob Lazar. Most of the figures that have the audacity to speak about this because they are just called to based on their own integrity don't make any money out of this, ladies and gentlemen. So it's quite the contrary. But they are some of the arguments I hear, which I have clearly debunked.